and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming videos. I am going to be playing in my art journal today. I did art journaling for a couple years and then I stopped. It was sort of a therapy for me, and then I actually started going to actual therapy and I stopped doing my art journaling. Now that I have been at home and have not been able to go to therapy, I thought that it would be nice to start art journaling again since I still have my art journal. And I have two. I have the small one and the big one. So I thought for me jumping back in, I thought that it would be easier to jump back in with a smaller canvas. So I'm starting with my small journal. I'm going to do a walkthrough of all the things that I have brought out to use. And then I will put y'all on fast forward to show you the process of what I create. So I'm going to start with this. This was a piece of a cut apart that I used from a layout, a scrapbooking layout. And this was sitting on my desk left over, and I just thought that it was perfect for starting off my art journal page. So that is what I based what I pulled off of. So then next I pulled out some Faber-Castell watercolor crayons. I pulled out everything will be linked below. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy art journal pages. I pulled out this beautiful stamp from Prima Princess, and it's the Zara stamp set, or stamp. It's gorgeous. And then I pulled a stencil from my stash. I'm not sure where the stencil is from, so I will try to find one similar to it to link below. I pulled out some Stampers Anonymous stamps from the mini Media Marks. I also pulled out some Dina Wakley Media collage paper. It's got all kinds of different collage papers in it. My acrylic white gesso, some gel medium, a cup of water, a couple paint brushes, just ones for my stash, and my archival black ink, as well as my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Big Brush pen. Ooh, that's a mouthful. So that is all of the things that I pulled out to play with. I don't know if I'm going to play with all of them. We shall see. But now I'm going to throw y'all on fast forward. So let's get started. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to spread my white gesso all over the page. Gesso just preps your page for all kinds of different mediums. It helps with water. It helps with the colors of watercolors or paints not just soak right into the paper. So you'll have more movement with the gesso. And so I'm just using a paintbrush from my craft room to spread that all over the art journal. I'm spreading it all over, all the way to the edges of the pages, even in the center, because this whole page is going to get color on it and we're going to have a lot of fun. I hope that you guys are excited. So if you are new to art journaling, or if you want to start art journaling, I encourage you to just start with what you have, and play around with what you have. And if you enjoy it, definitely just play with different mediums, different things. It's a lot of fun. It's very therapeutic for me. This is my first time sharing an art journal page on my channel, so I'm a little nervous. So please show me some love in the comments. Leave me a comment down below, and give this video a big thumbs up, because I'm really nervous. So the first thing that I'm doing, or well, the second thing that I'm doing is I'm taking some of that Dina Wakley collage paper, and I'm using a gel medium, and that's just a glue. So if you are new to art journaling, I am going to be breaking things down for you. So get out a notebook, get out a piece of paper and a pen, and I can help you, because I know that sometimes watching art journaling pages can be very intimidating, especially when the artists or creators don't say what they're using and what they're used for. You may not think you need this, but the gel medium is a glue and it helps seal things as well. So you put it underneath and you put it over top of all of those layers. So the papers won't, the collage papers that you're putting down aren't going to curl up or get all messed up when you're going over it with water or paints or all of those kinds of things. So that is what the gel medium is used for. And so you want to make sure that you are cleaning your brush really, really good and drying it off very well after you're done using the gel medium, because it is a glue and it will mess up your brush. So you'll see that in between all of the different layers that I do clean the brush, because I don't want that glue to dry on my brush. My brushes aren't expensive, nice brushes. I just use cheap, Michael's brushes, no big deal. But I still don't want them to get ruined. So I'm just putting this collage paper in a couple different places. Now, the reason I started this whole page was because of this one little card off to the left that says, "Let your colors shine." And I love bright colors. I love rainbows. Speaking of rainbows, right now, I have a rainbow shirt on. It's a big heart on the front of it, and it's rainbow. And it says, "All love is equal." And I just absolutely love it. I love rainbows. They make me happy. They bring me joy. So I'm going to do some rainbows in this page today. So please stay tuned. So I'm taking that Prima stamp, the Zara Princess. She's gorgeous, isn't she? She stamped pretty well. She actually surprisingly stamped pretty well. However, I really didn't love the text right across her face. So I'm going to stamp her again, but I'm going to bring in some things from my scrapbooking part of myself. Okay, so if you're here just for art journaling and you've never seen my channel, I'm a scrapbooker, but I do all kinds of things on my channel, and I do lots of craft room organization videos, but this is a memory misty, and this is for scrapbooking. However, look how beautifully it works on this beautiful vellum. Look how gorgeous that stamp is. The detail is just amazing. And I would not have gotten that detail on the art journal page without this Misty. So I stamped it on vellum with archival ink. Archival ink is a permanent ink. It is acid free and it is waterproof, and that is very important when you're working in an art journal, especially if you're going to use stamps, because you really want a permanent ink, because if you're going to be going over it with inks or water of any kind, or the gel medium or gesso, you're going to want a permanent ink, because you're not going to want to, you don't want it to bleed all over the place. So I used my stamp scrubber to clean off my stamp as well. All of these products that I'm using will be listed down below in the description box. They are affiliate links, so I do make a small commission off of those links, but they do not cost you any more money to purchase from my links. So it just helps bring some income to my family. So I do appreciate you all using my affiliate links. And so right now I am using a stencil that has a half doily on it, and I am just using some modeling paste it's just white. So you don't really see it right now, but you will see it here in a little bit when I start to add color to it. So right now it kind of looks like a hot mess. And I find that that's usually how things work. Usually for art journaling, things look kind of crazy before they actually start to look really beautiful. I was admiring that stamp on the vellum. It's just so pretty. But I'm going to stick it off to the side to let it dry, because before I put it on my page, I want it to be completely dry, but I don't want to use a heat tool because vellum is very delicate, and I don't want it to curl up really bad. So here is the inspiration for it all, the let your colors shine. So I'm pulling in that matte gel medium again, the glue, and I am gluing that down. And the scrapbook paper is a little bit thicker. Well, it's actually a lot thicker than the collage paper. I would say the collage paper is almost like a vellum consistency, but a little bit thinner. My vellum that I have personally is a thicker weight vellum. And so, yeah, between each layer, you definitely want to let it dry. Now, I am cutting out most of the heat tool, me using the heat tool in between the layers just because it takes some time. But please be patient. You can let it dry overnight, or you can just use a heat tool or a hair dryer or whatever, but don't hold it too close to the paper because it can cause the paper to, or the gel medium to bubble up, and then it causes this weird effect. So just be careful and experiment. Just have fun. So now I am taking these beautiful Faber-Castell watercolor crayons and I am just scribbling all over the page in a rainbow-like way. At first, I had no idea what I was doing. I thought I was just going to do it down one side. And then I was like, you know what? Let's just take it all over the whole page. So where the purple meets the two blues, I started going backwards from the rainbow. um, and y'all, this again, a hot mess, right? It looks like a hot mess right now. And you're like, what in the world are you doing, Heather? Do you even know what you're doing? And yes, I actually sort of do. Again, I'm not a professional at this. I watch YouTube videos and I pin things on Pinterest for art journaling, and I'm playing, and that's what this is all about. It's about playing, having fun with your products, using your products, and it's for sure a therapy for me. So sit down, take a couple deep breaths, and just enjoy the process. This to me was so therapeutic. It was so much fun. And I created something beautiful with my hands. And literally, I'm using my finger right now. Like, I just spray a little bit of water to activate those watercolor crayons, and you can see the movement. Now, I did try it with a paintbrush, and I did not like the way that it started to look right there on the pink. So I'm not going to lie, I prefer using my finger wet. You can also use a baby wipe to do this, but again, I don't know how that's going to turn out because I have not done that before, but I have seen other people do that. And see here, this is when I'm using the paintbrush, and it doesn't give me the vibrancy that my finger does. I know that sounds crazy, but it's almost like the paintbrush is picking up some of that pigment. You can see that the blue is just not as bright. And the green there over top of the girl is just not as bright as, look at that orange and the yellow and the purple. They're just super vibrant, and that's what I was going for. I was going for that just super saturated color. It's just gorgeous. I love color. Color makes me happy. It really does. And the more water that you add to it, obviously, the more, not translucent, because it's translucent, but it's not going to be so vibrant. And the more you move it around, the less it's going to lose some of its vibrancy. But y'all, this was so much fun to just sit down and play. And my husband was out in the garage working on his car. My daughter and my puppy were outside playing. And I just sat down and just created and played with my products. And it was a ton of fun. So I challenge you to pull out some products maybe that you have not used in a while, or some products that you haven't used at all yet and you purchase them and you're intimidated by them. Pull them out, watch a couple YouTube videos, sit down and just play. That is the beauty of art. Like, where we just sit down and play and see what happens. And I am so in awe of all of this color. It just makes me like super happy, like I just said. I'm going to say it 1,000 times. So now I'm going to dry it with the heat tool and soak up any kind of puddles that there are. Now, I did test to make sure that the ink was not going to bleed with this medium, this gel medium, because I was worried. Even though I've seen people use it all over the place, it still worried me. And these watercolor crayons actually dried permanent as well. They didn't move around after I used the gel medium on them either. Now I did have some trouble getting this to stick down, and I did get some air bubbles under it, but again, this is play and I was having fun, and it takes me a little while to get it all down and to make it stay because we have texture paste behind it. We have lots of layers of things behind this vellum, and this vellum is quite thick. It's not your thin, super thin vellum. I don't know why I purchased this vellum, but this is what I had on hand, so I'm using what I have. And the vellum kind of overhang just a little bit, and so I trimmed that off. And look how pretty this is. The detail on that stamp is just stunning, and I'm so happy, and I cannot wait to use her again. I'm absolutely, for sure, going to use her in another art journal page because she is just so beautiful. And aren't we all beautiful though? Like, we're all beautiful in our own way. So I just love, 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 love this art journal page. I had so much fun. Like I said, I keep saying that. But now I'm going over the whole thing with that gel medium, and that's just sealing everything together. It's sealing it all in. And I love it. I love it. I love it. Again, I'm just going over all of it. And once all of that is dry, then I'm going to have some fun as well with some black splatters. I'm going to grab my watercolor crayon in the color black and a paintbrush. A round paintbrush works best for splatters. At least in my opinion. The smaller the brush, the smaller the splatters, and the more water you have, you're going to get bigger splatters if your paintbrush is full of water. So look how vibrant that looks after it's dry. Next, I'm going in with my big, what is this thing called? My big Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen Big Brush. So I'm going around that kind of quote just to give it a little bit of depth, and I'm adding water to it so I can move it around with my paintbrush. And I like that a lot better than it just being there because it kind of looks like it belongs there now. Like it kind of has a frame around it. And so now I'm going to do the splatter. So I'm just taking some water with the paintbrush, touching the watercolor crayon, and then splattering it, splattering it down. And I got a bigger paintbrush and more water, which means bigger splatters. And then I'm doing some small splatters as well. And that is going to be my page for today. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope this was fun for you, and I encourage you to sit down and play with your products and have fun. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to spread love and be kind. I hope that you all have an amazing day. Bye.